I'm going to be reviewing Dungeons & Dragons Dark Alliance. Now I'm going to be starting to review a lot more games after I put in the 20 to 100 plus hours of gameplay depending on the game. I feel like you really should put in gameplay before doing a review of the game. That first impressions videos are fine. I'll never do one. I'll never watch them. I don't think you can really form a valid opinion at that point. But anyway, you can see right here I have 5 characters with 4,000 or higher power level, and roughly 45, 46 is God rolled max gear in every single slot. So I've put the hours of gameplay into this game. But let's jump right into the review. Just real quickly, I just want to state, if you do watch this review in its full, please like or dislike the video just so I have an idea. And if you dislike it, let me know what you disliked about it or what you would want to know. In the next one, I'll definitely try to include that type of information. But we're going to start off right with the bad, because there's a lot of bad in this game, sadly, at the moment. So to start off with, the hitboxes on many enemy attacks are broken and hit areas that they clearly shouldn't. This is more of a problem than it normally would be, since phasing through teammates is impossible. When legend farming is done on a difficulty that can be 1 to 2 hit kill on most players, coupled with the fact that there's many tight arena battles, phasing should have been implemented, but the best reference I can give to explain the problem is that I saw 3 players, including myself, jump off a ledge at the same time. We just touched each other and we all just fell into the cavern. Like, there'll be so many occasions where you'll try to dodge, but you can't know exactly where all your teammates are at all times and know all the enemy positions, and you'll bump into a teammate and you or him will get killed. If they just fixed phasing, hitboxes wouldn't be so much of a problem because they'd be a lot easier to avoid. But in any case, that is 2 problems with the game at the moment. Coupled, them combined creates a bigger problem. But on to the next problem. There's no respect system in the game. In a game that clearly doesn't define the max amount of points you'd be able to obtain, a respect system should have been a given. But there is no respect system at the moment. Another problem is multiple gear sets are broken and the bonuses simply do not work at all or work as stated. To add on this note, some of the bonuses were just terrible, like extra gold. Not one person cares about gold. And if you're that one person that's going to comment, you care about gold, stop it, you're lying. I mean, they would be better off just creating a set labeled wrong bonus, try again, than extra gold. I mean, they could have just been a little bit more creative and came up with either less sets or more useful sets, but they did neither. So, on to the next problem. AI can be extremely slow to aggro. Now, some people might think this is a good thing. Personally, I think it's a horrible thing. You can literally run past any non-objective section and not get hit if you time your run well. Like, it's just ridiculous how slow the enemies are to aggro. Next problem, this is borderline okay, bad, but personally I don't like that there's only 4 playable characters and everyone must be a different character. I know some people like the dwarf, but from talking to most experienced looters that were basically 4,000, 4,500 on 4 different characters already going for max builds, the consensus, which I 100% agree with, is the dwarf is not needed for legend farming unless you're really going for him. Doesn't put out the DPS, and it'd been much nicer, even more nicer, to just see a 5th character option that had a higher DPS or more of a way that you could actually play the dwarf and be useful in high-end farming. Just a lot of people in these games run through get the T6 so quick, and this T6 difficulty is not even hard in my opinion. I run through hardest difficulties. Very easy, hardest difficulty. The dwarf just doesn't fit. Next problem, going off my last comment, I do find a serious problem with the legend farming, not that many talk about, but every time I bring it up, they're like, yeah, you're right. The game provides 4 characters and everyone must pick one, but the game also made preferred gear missions, and no one mission is good for more than 2 characters. So in a game that only takes a few hours to get to the point of building max builds, why not have preferred set missions where 1 to 2 players benefit more than 1 to 3 players? Sorry, that was actually supposed to be read as a question and I read it wrong, but yeah, they shouldn't really have it so 1 to 2 players benefit more than the other 1 to 3 players. That's how that should have been read, sorry. Either preferred sets need to be removed or players need to be able to select duplicate characters. I feel this is the biggest reason most have already quit the game out of the players that have quit the game. Because instead of doing max builds, we all wanted to have fun and spend time farming the wrong board for our characters just to be able to play, and then when we didn't get what we needed, eventually we quit. So I feel like that's a really big problem that just isn't being addressed. The preferred gear set, coupled with the fact that every character needs to be played in a mission, has really ruined the endgame farming and made it much harder to find matchmaking and caused a lot of the players to quit. The next issue is PC players have managed to create programs to cheat again. Seeing Barbarian do 12-minute damage and one-shot trolls. I've seen archers one-shot everybody. This dude, the one dude does Barbarian, he joined off an LFG post I put and then he left the game afterwards, but if he didn't leave, I would have left or kicked him because I wanted to kill stuff too, and he just literally took all the fun out the game because he just literally one-shot killed every single thing in the game. Not to rip on PC players, but they complain a lot that they don't get included in games like this, but if they stop cheating and stop putting out like game-breaking cheats like million damage, weapons, one-shot kill everybody, and then go into co-op play, it wouldn't be so much of a problem. More games like this would want to include PC players. So nothing against you, but you know the few are ruining it for PC players to be included in the co-op games. So there is more on the bad. Personally, I didn't really have much of a server issue, but a lot of the older gens apparently have reported server issues and disconnects. Heard from other people a lot of time on the Kelvin fight. There've been a lot of disconnects right at the boss fight. But personally, I didn't really experience this, but it is a known issue. So on to the good. There are 2 free expansions. Free expansions are always good. The third one, it looks like you are going to have to pay for, but I like the 2 free ones. There's a good amount of enemy variance. I do like that. The enemy AI is good after it's been aggroed. They are extremely slow to aggro, as I mentioned, but after they are aggroed, they do act fairly well. They are easy to press. They could be a little bit more aggressive, that's for sure, but they're decent. Next good is there's fairly quick load times provided you're on the Series X. I really can't comment for the older gen because I never tested it on an older gen. There's decent weapon and armor skins. Nothing good, but at least the majority of them aren't ugly. And the worst, they're decent, and some are good. So that's pretty good overall skins. There's a decent amount of hours of gameplay before getting into the build of doing the max builds. Would have liked it if it was a little bit longer, but it's okay. It's pretty decent. So on to the okay. Now a lot of people are going to disagree with me on this, but most of the people that are going to disagree with me on this are people that are looking for instant gratification, and I don't know. But for overall, if you played a lot of looters, the legendary drop rate is reasonable. It's not high, nor is it low on max difficulty. There is a slight problem if you do T1, T6 difficulty solo or with 2 players, the drop rate decreases, and it really should not because the difficulty does not decrease. It's actually harder to do like that. Well, the difficulty actually does decrease, but it's still easier to do with a team. And they shouldn't be giving you commons and rares for max level difficulty. Overall, the legendary drop rate isn't bad, but it'd be nicer to see a little bit higher on the epics, no commons, like maybe a 1 out of 100 common, and a little bit less on the rares. Slightly higher on the legendaries would be good, and slightly higher on the epics would be good, but overall I'm putting it in the okay category. It's not high, nor is it low on max difficulty, so it's reasonable. The other okay I have is decent amount of abilities and moves. Could definitely use a 25 to 50% bump though to get it into the good category. And as mentioned, I really would have liked to see a fifth character, or at minimum all four characters being able to play on any mission. Like you could select four categories or whatever combination you wanted. But that is my good, bad, and okay for this game. Other than that, if there's anything you feel should be mentioned, do you have a serious problem with anything? Is there something you really liked about that game? Include it in the comment section. Let others know. But that is everything I have at the moment for my review on Dungeons & Dragons Dark Alliance. I hope